All right, guys. Turn this down a little bit. So now I'm recording with my GoPro 9. I do have the old version of the GoPro. So I feel like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like if I'm really not looking for any type of upgrades that I need, I'm not going to upgrade. I'm going to keep using that same old GoPro. I'm going to keep on using that same old cell phone until it breaks down. Unless there's an option in there or something in there that I need, then I will upgrade. That's how I am. I don't just run out and get the latest and the newest things. Okay, with that being said, I am recording with my GoPro 9. I have a mic on the top. I usually put my cell phone up here on the stand and I record myself with my cell phone, then I can just upload it straight to YouTube. But I'm going to try this because I haven't used my GoPro in a long time. Just yesterday, I sent back my DJI. Let me turn the air on up there. I sent back my DJI Action 5 camera. I sent it back in. It's still under warranty, and I think I get up to like four replacements within a year or something like that. But I have never had to turn it back in because when I got it for a gift, I just kind of held on to it until I went to the Philippines, and that's when I started using it. And then that's when the problem occurred because it just started overheating. I could not let the camera stay on until the battery runs down, because usually some GoPros, you can run it until the battery dies, right? But there are some issues with GoPro also, because sometimes they will lock up or shut down, whatever, restart, whatever. But I don't think GoPro really has the overheating problem like the Osmo Action 5 camera does. I'm not sure, but we will see. And then don't think about this GoPro. I have to keep tapping it or change the settings so my front screen can stay on, because it'll go off. But I'm in frame. So, but yeah, I have this set up, and as soon as I get up to this light, I'm just going to let you guys kind of look at yourself or look into the camera so you can kind of see my setup. I don't know if you can see that, but the setup is right there. Okay, I got a microphone on it. You know what? Let me just take a picture. I'm just gonna take a picture real quick. Turn this around. Photo. Just take a picture of my setup so you can see it. I'm gonna put it on the screen, and that way you can look at it. Okay. So I don't know if you guys you probably can't even see that either. Anyway, let me stop doing that because I'm driving. But guys, this is what I want to talk about, because I had a friend, he just made a video. I'm not trying to call you out either, because this is something that like everybody's going through, like everybody, like, and it's about working. Like, people now are just tired and exhausted of working, and I think it could be a lot of reasons, either we're getting older, our bodies are getting tired. It could be you see other people that's making all this money and you're working and busting your butt, or it could be the pay. Like, the pay that we're getting paid for some of these jobs, it doesn't seem fair, right? It doesn't seem like it's enough. They're just paying you just enough to get by. And is it the company fault? No, it's not necessarily, because they're just doing what everybody else does. Because the same thing that we pay for a lot of times and have to buy and everything, big companies kind of fall into the same boat. Okay. Just like buying groceries, they got to buy supplies and all this other stuff, and the cost is going up and up and up, and it's going up and up and up for us. So some companies, they can't really, it's getting tighter and tighter for them to make their profits. But on the same note, when you go to these meetings and companies meetings, and there was another job I used to be at, and I used to hear this all the time. We call a meeting, and then they talk about the financials and how well. It's always about how well the company did. Always, always, always. Like, you rarely hear anything about we didn't do good, we lost money. Like, it's always they're doing good. But then when you go outside of work and you start looking up this stuff, and they know most people don't, you see that they're not making, like, some companies are not making money, but they have to make the presentation look good. But you also have to think about this. These companies are out here they may brag about how much money they're making. $1 billion. We profited $1 billion something this year, and blah, last year. And you guys are doing a great job, thank you. And then when they say thank you, and then they go and buy you some pizza or do something, things of that nature. And that's their way of saying thanks, which I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, right? And but you get some pizza, or they're buying the whole building pizza, which is just pocket change, right? And then on this note, I'm going to tell you also how I feel about that, okay? What I think companies should start doing. But a lot of us are just tired for all kind of reasons, and this stuff is, this has been happening since the beginning of time, pretty much. When everybody goes to work, we're just tired. Everyone's tired. But we have to work. Like, we have to work. This is what makes the world move. Because if everyone just didn't work, I think we will probably be upset, because there wouldn't be no one there to serve us. You see what I'm saying? Like, there won't be anyone at the fast food restaurants, or there may only be one person working at McDonald's, and they're doing everything, cooking, trying to ring people up, all this stuff. Man, I smell like I ran over a skunk. Yeah, I think I hit a skunk back there, or I ran over one. But I'm gonna roll down the window. But I lost my train of thought because I think I smelled a skunk. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, we were probably upset because no one's there helping. So that's why everyone has their place to do certain work, and we always going to feel like we're not getting paid enough. I think even if I was making $40 an hour, I would probably feel okay, but I would probably feel like it's still not enough, because there could be issues where I'm going home and buying things that I don't need, right? Or living in a bigger house, or or buying that nice car, and I got higher car payments and higher insurance and a higher house payment. So I'm back in the same position as I was when I was living like basic, right? So it's like every time you try to level up, it's almost like you're going back to the same spot you was at the beginning, unless you're like way at the top, okay? But we all have to work. We don't have no choice. I don't want to work, and I can easily say I just don't like working. I don't like working. Everybody don't like working. But what choice do we have if we're not? The world is ran on money, like it's driven by money. So therefore, they got this thing down to a science to where everything you do and need, you need money. Every single thing. Like who in their right mind would think that someone just said, hey, let's start charging people for water. Let's put it in a bottle and just start charging people outrageous prices. And We're getting charged for water that's on Earth naturally. But anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that. But I'm just kind of rumbling off the top of my head. But this is where, you know, we have to decide, like, how can I get out of this? And then if you do get out of the position that we're in and we start making the big bucks, guess what? The same thing that these companies are doing to us and just paying us just enough, we're most likely are going to be doing that to the other people that we hire below us. Like if we start a business, we only going to pay them what we think. We may pay them a little extra, but just enough. We're just going to just pay them just enough. And we're going to repeat the same cycle over and over and over and over. So it's like a never-ending process because you're almost forced to do that. Like, I don't know any job that's going to be just really, really, really generous and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You deserve $100 an hour, right? And just give it to you. I don't know any companies that do that. And on that note, this is what I was going to say. This is what I think a company should do. What most companies should do. I think companies they definitely need to go back to having a pension because companies, let me try to put this here. Companies are going away from having a pension. They want everybody to just rely on their 401k for whatever reason. They're just trying to get rid of the 401k, right? I mean, they're trying to get rid of the pension. They don't have to deal with it. And then, so the company don't have to pay you after you retire. So you just stuck with your 401k and then whatever other savings that you try to save up, like your, like if you're in stocks and all that stuff, you got to try to make money on the side pretty much. Cut grass, whatever it takes. So, you know, you're relying on that. Why am I'm just like getting distracted by everything. Now I see a cat walk across the street. But anyway, but what I was going to say, this is what I think companies should do. Since they don't have a pension anymore, they just have 401k. I think every year that you stay at a company, the company should give you the option and be like, okay, so your full year rolled around, here's $1,000. You're here for 2 years, okay, on your second year, they give you $2,000. And every year you was there, they add $1,000 to the prior year, right? So the first year they give you $1,000, the second year they give you $2,000, the third year they give you $3,000, so on. If you're there for 10 years, they should give you a check for $10,000. This is just my thought, and the only reason why I say this is because I seen something on social media. There was this nurse, and it was a small little hospital, and when she went to retire, she was retiring, and her co-workers, they were doctors, they said, you know what, here, one guy gave her $5,000. Here's $5,000 since you're retiring. Then another co-worker gave her $5,000. Then another co-worker gave her $5,000. They all chipped in and gave the lady $5,000 along with her pension along with her 401k and everything. So she did 30 years, so you can do the math on that. And she walked away with a big check, a bunch of big checks. And I think companies that make billions of dollars should be able to do that. Especially the ones that's been there for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They can afford to do that. But I don't know why they don't. But they will brag about, I don't want to say brag, but they will say how much profit the company that made. If they're already paying the people at the poverty line, I just call it poverty line, what they can pay, and they know they can pay a little bit more, but they don't, they can afford to give you all the extra money that they've been holding back. Okay? But yes, we still have to work, unfortunately. Try to rely on something else, buy land, buy condos or whatever, and try to generate your own money, okay? Because you're going to start, once you become the boss, you're going to do the same cycle to someone else. But that's it, guys. I gotta go, and I'll see you next one. Take care. Peace.